Hi guys, are you one of the many people out there who struggle to find the time to pursue their side hustles? You've got all the best intentions in the world, but you just cannot seem to find the time to focus on that goal of a side hustle. Or are you one of those people who has perhaps started a side hustle but just cannot seem to be productive enough to make it work? They seem to overemphasize and become too perfectionist to the extent that they actually do not achieve their goals. This problem is so widespread that I actually received a message from a friend of mine who said to me, "Ken, how do you work so efficiently? I lose focus too easily and take longer on things than I should do." In brackets, she's written perfectionist problem, okay? This is a very common problem that a lot of us face. We just can't seem to find the time in an ever more distracted world with so many things demanding our time. Today I'm going to share with you the system I use to stay super productive. In case you did not know, I spend maximum of 2 hours a day on all things to do with the humble penny, whether it's making videos, whether it's writing blog posts, whether it's speaking to potential brands. It's only 2 hours a day. And so if I'm able to deliver all of this that you're looking at in 2 hours a day, then surely you can do the same. So today I'm going to share with you my exact system so that you can work towards doubling your productivity and achieving your goals if a side hustle is one of them, for example. My name is Ken of the Humble Penny and Financial Joy Academy. What we do on this channel is to give you the tips, the insights and the practical hacks to help you work towards a dream life of financial independence and money joy. Starting a side hustle is something that's super important. In fact, many people say that we live in the age of the side hustle, as I've covered on previous videos before. So finding the time to make it happen so that you can boost your income and accelerate that goal towards financial independence is absolutely critical. And the system I'm going to explain to you today is one known as calendar blocking or time blocking. So in case that sounds a bit strange to you, I'll spend some time explaining to you the way this video will work. I'll explain the benefits of calendar or time blocking, and I'll go on to show you behind the scenes of exactly how I do this in my own life so that you can pretty much copy that and use that in your own life as well. Then at the end of this video, I will offer you some pro tips. These are tips that you can apply to make calendar blocking or time blocking work in your favor and help you to double your productivity to achieve side hustle success, okay? So let's dive in now and start to look at what this area of calendar blocking is and how it can work for you. So what exactly is calendar blocking, or time blocking as some people refer to it? Calendar blocking is essentially a process whereby you move from what most people do. So most people, and this is the biggest mistake people make, is that they write down a list of things they need to do and they have it on their phones or maybe in a notepad or wherever, and they forget the most important step, which is to connect their intentions or their goals to their time. Okay, that's the biggest thing that most people do not do. Okay, and calendar blocking essentially helps you take your goals and connect them to your time. Essentially taking your time and blocking your chunks of time up to connect with the goals that you've set yourself, okay? Or the things that you prioritize in your life. So say, for example, your top priorities in life might be that you want to stay fit and healthy, you want to eat well, you want to cook good food. So you take your calendar and use that as the tool that guides your decision process and your time allocation towards making sure you achieve that goal. You'd find specific blocks that you commit your time to in your calendar in order to make that happen. So the same applies to side hustles, and this is exactly what I do in order to be super efficient and deliver on the humble penny. And I mentioned my friend earlier. The reason why this is absolutely critical that you time block or you calendar block is that the reason my friend messaged me was that she noticed that I only had very limited time. So I've got 2 hours a day, that's what I dedicate to all of this stuff. But the reason why I achieve so much in that time is because of the urgency of having limited time offers. I found that time and I've used calendar blocking to allocate various tasks through the week, a process I refer to as scheduling the week, such that I know exactly what I'm doing. And when the world's distractions come, I fight the resistance and focus on what I need to do. Whereas my friend who actually works from home and is actually a YouTuber as well, has a lot of time during the week. But the problem she has is very different in that she has too much time, but she starts a piece of work, but because she hasn't got a deadline set and she hasn't got it scheduled in her calendar, she starts that work and she goes and she overemphasizes and maybe becomes too perfectionist. And so that work continues to roll over from one day to another without end, which is what most of us who start side hustles end up doing. We overemphasize, we become too specific, and the thing we want to do never actually goes live. And this issue that my friend has of letting her work carry on day after day without a deadline is actually something known as Parkinson's law, which states that work expands to fill the time available to it, okay? So if you're somebody who does not have a deadline for something, the work you're doing will continue to expand and fill that ever-expanding available time that you've got. So the key is to have a line in the sand so that you know that there's some need of urgency and there's a hard line that must force you to stop that activity and move to the next thing, okay? So this video will be perfect for you if you are that sort of person, or if you're that person who just can't seem to find the time at all or can't seem to be productive at all. So let's dive in and now explain to you what I believe the key benefits are of calendar blocking so that you can then apply them to your life. And after that, we would then go and look behind the scenes at exactly how I do it. The number one benefit is that it helps you actually focus on what's important in your life. I touched on this earlier before. So you get to actually choose what to put into your calendar. And by doing that, you are holding yourself accountable, almost as though you've got an appointment to show up and deliver on those particular things that you've put into your calendar. So if your health or your food or side hustles is important to you, they are the things that you schedule in first, and everything else then falls in after that because they take priority. The second benefit is that it actually shows you where you are spending your time. Have you got to the end of the week before and thought to yourself, where has the week gone? What have I been doing all week? Well, if you use this method of calendar blocking or time blocking, you will be able to go back and look at your calendar and see the various things you've been able to achieve all through the week. And that way you can do a review to see where you're spending most of your time, as well as look at areas for potential improvement. Number three is that it helps you stay focused. This is the biggest problem that a lot of people have, okay? I use this so effectively because it helps me know exactly what I'm working on and what I need to focus on. So for example, I knew I had this very slot right now to come and make this very video, and I know I've got exactly 30 minutes to deliver this video and move on to other things. So I've shown up and I'm getting it done. So if you do exactly the same, it will help you focus on the task, whether it's writing a blog or whether it's researching a piece of content or researching a business idea. It will help you focus, and you can then push away the distractions in order to get that thing done. Number four is that it helps you get rid of idly wasting your time. So one of the worst things we do in our lives is we pick our phones up and we're scrolling. This is possibly the worst possible way to use your time, okay? So scheduling your time in your calendar helps you and keeps you accountable and stops you idly wasting your time and regretting doing it as well. And number five, this is the best benefit of doing it, in my opinion, is that it helps you scheduling fun things to actually do. Because it's so easy to just do the work and actually not complement the work or having fun things or things that just keep you excited to do in your own life. So it gives you that good balance of fun and play as well as work as well. Okay, so I'm now going to cut to my computer screen to show you exactly how you can replicate my process of calendar blocking in order to double your productivity and achieve your side hustles. And make sure you watch all the way to the end, because at the end of that process of showing you my screen, I would then talk to you about the pro tips for making this work the most effectively for you. Okay guys, so this is the tool that I highly recommend for calendar blocking. I use Google Calendar, And I use this because it's super simple and it connects to all my various apps and it works exceptionally well. So this is an example of, let's begin that process of a whole week. Okay, so I typically do this on a Sunday and you can try and do the same. Here we go. So when you open Google Calendar, you see most people on this side will have just one calendar on the left-hand side. But the trick is to create a calendar for various areas of your life. Okay, all you have to do is come and click here and click create calendar and simply add a description. So I could have just done one now called testing just to show you guys. Description and hit create calendar. You see, if we come back here, you see we'll have a calendar for testing if it shows up. There you go. You see, that's the new calendar we just created. You can come in here if you want to change the colors and choose what colors you want. So that's just a demo one. So I can just close that because we don't really want that anymore. Now, what have I done? I've created calendars across all areas of my life. Faith, family life, finances, fitness, admin, and so on. Side hustle and business, which is what this video is about. Travel, work life, all the stuff that I love doing and learning, obviously. Now, the way I start this is to ask myself, what's the most important thing to me? And one of the most important things to me is my sleep. So what I start by doing is, when do I want to sleep? So I schedule in, let's say I'm going to bed at 10 p.m. What I tend to do is I add emojis to keep things fun. So you can see there's a website here. It's got tons of emojis. I put those in just to keep things really fun. Okay. The question is, how long do I want to sleep for? Let's say I got myself 7 hours. And I can add a guest. Say, for example, I can invite my wife. And here's the key bit is I choose to put it in family life. And you can even come in here, more options, and make it more recurring. Okay. Because you don't want this, to be a daily thing. And you hit save. So you can see at the bottom of my calendar right there, I've got my sleep happening. Now, next thing is, how do I start my day? So sleep carries on, you can see all the way here. So at 5 a.m., what do I want to do? Let's say I want to wake up and reading or journaling. So I might come in here and look for simple emoji. Okay, so say I wanted to do some reading and journaling. Again, this would go into my, I'll probably say for learning. And I want that to recur every day, even Saturdays and Sundays. I want that to repeat. If I wanted my wife to join, for example, I could just invite her here as a guest. Okay, save that. And then let's just say here, I want to go to the gym. Again, I'd go and look for an emoji for that. Workout and running, something like that. Again, I want this to put that in my fitness life. I'll stick that to be repeating daily. So I want that to happen every single day. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now, at this point, I'm about to go to work. Okay. So heading to work, trying to work. We want that to happen every day. So 7 to 8. I will put that in my for work life because it's all connected anyway. And I just come in here and repeat Monday to Friday, weekdays only. So you can see what we're doing here. We're already accounting for a lot of our time. Then let's finally say that I do about 8:30 to 5:30 for work. Okay, so work, let's say 5 o'clock or something. Pop that in, more options, repeat every weekday. So you can see quite a lot of our week is already accounted for. So the question then becomes, what are you doing for side hustles? Okay, where is the window for it? Because you now know what's happening for most of your week, and you'll come to weekends in a minute. So let's move that way one day. Let's say, for example, your side hustle is blogging, just making this up. And let's say here you've done family life, and here you were commuting back, and here you've done family life. Just to speed this up a bit, I just come in here and basically use this space to do those things that you want to do. Okay, so you write here blogging, it's something like, I don't know, competitor research. You come in here and you put that into your side business just for that particular slot. And you know that you want to do another session because you should always take a break, blogging, writing. Again, you're putting that in your add a description if you want, but you're putting that in your side hustle section. Okay, so this is where it really matters, because here you're really now being intentional about what you're doing for those slots. Remember, everything else is accounted for. You're being very specific, and what you're putting into these slots will be driven by where you are in the current stage of your side hustle business. Okay, the next day you might say, for example, focus on researching sponsored income, something like that. I'm just making these up just to give you an example of how this would work. Okay, for an hour, and then your other hour that you might have, you might focus, say, on doing the admin for blog. Pop that in. Okay, so you repeat that on for the rest of your week. Then you can come here on a Saturday. You know what's happening on a Saturday. You're waking up as usual, which can be quite tough for most people, waking up at the same time on a Saturday. But for me, I always try where possible to do the same thing, just to keep the habit there. Now, it might be that on Saturday, say, for example, I take my kids to music school. So I know that from 10 a.m. till about 3 p.m., we're doing music school. Right, so that's locked away, and I'm busy doing family life. So again, I can put an emoji if I want, 10 a.m. to about 3 p.m. But I also know that as soon as I come back, a lot of my time is spent creating stuff. So whilst I'm at the music school, we've been planning, say, a YouTube video, for example. So here I would be filming YouTube video, something like that. And I want this one to recur, so I put that in my side hustle and biz. I want that to recur every single week without fail, weekly on Saturday. So I've saved that. And because I do them back to back, I probably want to just expand that up to about 5 p.m. Okay, so that's that. Then I probably want to give myself a break. Again, I'd schedule that in just so I know what's going on. Chill out with kids and wifey. I'll pop that in as family time. Again, I'd make that recurring. You get the idea, okay? And then I know this time around here will be evening time, will be cooking, and at this point, Mary will probably say to me, babe, come and cut up the courgettes and, cucumbers and broccoli and stuff. So I know this will happen. So again, I'll pop that in as family life. I'll make that recurring because I want that. I want to be able to help out every single week to do that. So weekly on a Saturday, for example, save, okay? So you can see what's going on. Every single thing is scheduled. And then later in the evening, once kids have gone to bed, I can also then start to do some of my work. So I might here do the invoicing for brand or something, okay? Pop that in my side hustle section. And I just want that to be a one-off thing because it's just a one-off event, okay? Save. And now I'm about to go to bed. So here I might focus on just doing some reading. So again, I'll put that in my learning section for learning, save. So you can see that we know what our week will look like. We've got gaps where we are perhaps on the move, and we've pretty much scheduled a week. So this would have carried on. We've carried on scheduling this up until the end of the week. And so what this means is that when we get any form of distractions, we want to be led by this calendar and these various calendar blocks for them to guide us. And so when someone says, do you want to do this, do you want to do that, you come to your diary and go, this is going to be tough. I'm booked out. Oh, I've got a little block here of 1 hour that you might want to meet somebody for. If you've put something in the calendar, it essentially means that you've committed yourself to making those side hustle tasks that you've put in happen. And the more you can make these appointments, the more you move forward in achieving your goals. What I particularly like about this is that if you've said here, for example, you're going to be researching a particular piece for your blog post or whatever it is you're doing, because you've got that 1 hour, that's all you've got. So I normally put a timer. Yeah, you can see this. You can see this in the video. This is a timer. So I pop these on for this is 15 minutes each time. And these timers just help me visually see what I'm doing and can see that time moving. So you can buy a timer for maybe 1 hour or 30 minutes, or you can buy a digital one if you prefer that. Oh, and by the way, this is where it gets really interesting because here you can see your whole week. Now, let's say you wanted to just see only your side hustle life. You come in here and just untoggle all these. So you can, if this is a bit overwhelming for you, you just want to see, you can see that this is all you've been doing for side hustle. So you might be questioning, okay, this would have carried on up to here. I've got a whole weekend. This is all I've done for my side hustle. So you want to be asking yourself, is this what I want? Then you might be asking yourself, well, what's missing from my calendar? What have I not added, for example? I haven't added, for example, a bit on finances, which I know is a once a month activity. You might also want to just look at, how much family life am I having, for example? Okay, if I remove that. So you can see what you're spending on family life, you're mostly sleeping. You would have diarized a few things perhaps that look quite different to mine at the minute. But the key here, you might be asking yourself, well, where's the fun and romance? Notice I haven't added anything in for fun and romance yet. And my wife would absolutely kill me for this. But we normally do a date night every 2 weeks, and this area clearly needs a lot more work. Okay, but you get the point, all right? And what's good with this is you can choose to invite various people to different areas of your calendar if you want. That way, you're not giving complete access to all your calendars. You can choose to invite somebody specifically to a specific calendar. But the key with doing this is so that you're visually able to see where all your time is being spent, what it is you're doing, what appointments you've got, and most importantly, you are showing up and keeping yourself accountable to meet up with your various blocks in your calendar. And if you do this, trust me, if you stick by what I'm showing you here, you will double your productivity and you will achieve more because you're planning ahead, you're showing up, and you're keeping yourself accountable. Okay guys, so here are the pro tips that I can offer you to make calendar blocking or time blocking work for you. Number one is that you should create multiple calendars for different areas of your life. Okay, so the biggest mistake we all make is that we have just one calendar, and that one calendar gets populated with things and it can become very overwhelming. So the most effective way that I've found to use calendar blocking is to create multiple calendars using Google Calendar. Okay, and that Google Calendar gives you the option to create various calendars for different areas. So for example, I've got stuff for business and side hustles, I've got stuff for my traveling, I've got stuff for speaking and meetings, I've got stuff for family life and life routines and so on. And what that then does is that it allows you to toggle on and off from different calendars. So for example, if you wanted to invite somebody to your meetings and events calendar or your travel calendar, you can send them an invite specifically to just that calendar and they can see that as well. Or if you want to invite somebody to a meeting for a side hustle related project, you can invite them to the calendar for the side hustle. And when you've got them all toggled on, you can then see your full calendar very clearly, and you know what you're committed to working on across the various areas of your life. The second pro tip is to make sure you color code your various calendars. I find this fun because it just helps me kind of put some familiarity with the various areas of my life. So for example, business and side hustles, I might have colored a really light green, for example, family life and that sort of stuff. I'll have colored in yellow, for example, because I find that color vibrant. So you choose those various colors because it just helps you categorize the various areas of your life and creates a level of familiarity, and visually you're able to see, wow, I'm spending this much time on family life, or I'm spending this much time at work, for example. So visually you can see how much time you're spending on stuff and whether you need to kind of move things around to achieve more balance in your life. Number three is to leave some room to breathe. It's very, very easy to overschedule yourself and leave no room for flexibility. Okay, so I'd say the best thing I do personally is not to have little slots kind of scheduled in. I tend to do mine in 1 hour blocks. And what I do is I leave windows of half an hour here and there in case things overrun. So for example, my evening routine at home, I know my kids are unpredictable and all kinds of things can happen. So I tend to leave a bit of window for that sort of stuff to happen. And I can enjoy my family life in the evening knowing I've left some room to breathe. Pro tip number 4 is to schedule the week, okay? This is by far the most effective thing that you can do. I personally do this on a Sunday. so that I know exactly what my week looks like ahead of me. I know where my side hustle and business activities are. I know where my family life is. I know where my work-related life is. I know where my well-being related activities are. So that way you can look ahead of the week, you feel a lot more prepared, and you know exactly what to do. And so when those distractions show up, you know exactly where to push them and where to tell them to go. Pro tip number 5 is to scheduling what's most important to you first, okay? Choose the things that you prioritize in your life. It might be your family routines, it might be your fitness, it might be that you do some journaling in the morning, okay? So focus on doing those first, scheduling the routines, scheduling those most important areas, and then let everything else fill in the time. The final pro tip is to consider all your blocks in the calendar as proper appointments, okay? If you had them at work, you most certainly will show up for those appointments at work. So you've got to see those times you've scheduled as a personal appointment with yourself to help you achieve your goal. So if you are trying to achieve a side hustle, for example, if you've put it in the diary, it must happen because you've put that slot and you've put a particular activity that you want to happen at that time. All you have to do is show up at that time, find yourself a bit of space, like I've got here, my office space, sit down, put your computer up or whatever, and get that task done. And once that time is up, move on and go and do something else. The key is to use that as a way to build your consistency muscle. And once you've built that consistency muscle, it then becomes a habit that's a part of your life going forward. Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this video today on how you can double your productivity to achieve your side hustles using calendar blocking. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and show some appreciation because it really helps to improve the engagement on our channel. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What is your #1 challenge towards staying productive? You know, what's that one big challenge you've got towards achieving your side hustles? What is it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what the variety of challenges people are having towards achieving their side hustles. If you are somebody who's amazing at productivity, I'd love to know what your tips are for our community for how you stay productive and how you stay on top of your life day to day. Guys, thanks a lot for watching again. If you're new to our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you get notified when we publish content on a Tuesday as well as a Thursday. Guys, thanks a lot. It's been so much fun talking about time and productivity. I look forward to seeing you again on our next video. Take care and bye for now.